Yeah, that's basically the potential applications of orgonite. The possibilities are endless. Wherever the orgon field needs improvement, orgonite will do it. That's basically everywhere. In agriculture, we observe increased fertility, plant growth, biomass, plant health. Can be proven, can be shown. Desert greening, we had the pleasure of observing anomalous greenness of the Kalahari and the Namib Desert after we did work there. Personal health and well-being support healing processes, often astonishing results, even with dread diseases. We are not promising anything, but we have had feedback of spontaneous cancer remissions and things like that just by having some orgonite tools. I'm not saying this will happen all the time. Protection against radiation, dissolving chemtrails, immunizing a country against effects of weather warfare. That's very important. And then there are numerous effects on consciousness. We find on a regular basis that we get feedback that people who have been engaged in bickering and quarreling suddenly find it possible to work together or live together in a constructive way. After what we call gifting, Johannesburg, a notorious crime capital of the world, some people say, with about 3,000 of these little things, we got a crime statistic the first time after a continuous rise over decades that went 13% down in terms of murder, manslaughter, and robbery with aggravating circumstances. So here you can see the effect of orgonite on cell phone towers. We believe that microwave radiation is weather modifying. The jury is still out whether they do it deliberately or whether it's a side effect. I personally believe that there is a secret agenda connecting all these towers to a more sinister purpose. But be that as it may, that is not important for our discussion here. You can see this area of towers before and after. You see the sky is rippled like a herringbone pattern. Here it's already forming beautiful cumulus clouds, and you can see a vortex forming, you can see a blue hole emerging. These two photos on the bottom, I have to apologize for the bad quality. They show the same site, basically 20 minutes apart. So that's a very typical experience that we have had thousands of times. You can see immediate effects of orgonite on a sky. The sky, I believe, was fully chemtrailed. It had like a level of chemtrails on top and other cloud underneath. You can see an energy flare here shooting up in total silence, by the way. These occurrences are not accompanied by wind. It's a purely energetic phenomenon. You can see here, that was in Uganda in 2004. On this mountain, which was in a closed-off military area, there were several towers on top, and we didn't have a chance to go very close. The only thing we did was to place two of these about 2 kilometers, and the effect was that. And this is not a tornado, this is not a hurricane, this is a silent energy vortex that came about in total serene silence. Yes? Oh, sorry. Better? Okay. So another before and after picture. This was a military radar station in Tete, Mozambique. The whole city had a very, very negative energy. It felt totally oppressive even as you entered the city. You can see here the kind of sky that we saw. Here you see my wife, Friederike, hiding something in the bush. And then you can see how the sky opens up. Again, this sequence is not over a day or two. This sequence is within 15, 20 minutes. So you see the original sky, you see the ripples. You see how the ripples start forming into more articulated clouds. A few minutes later, you see the very typical blue hole, which indicates an energy vortex. And you see how this now healthier sky is forming into rain cloud, and as we drove off, half an hour later, it was already raining. So that's a typical sequence of what happens. Another one here. It's not so easy to document, because we are as we do these gifting expeditions, we are moving through the landscape. We're not just staying somewhere. We're moving through a landscape, and we put these things out, preferably at the cell phone towers, but also we use riverbeds and other places. And it's a dynamic experience. It's, you would probably need a very artistic film cameraman to ever be able to really give an idea of that experience, because it's quite exciting. You can see here that was in the Karoo semi-desert in South Africa. Hazy sky, but the first cumulus cloud is already forming. So that is already the beginning of the energy transformation. You can see now in the next picture there are already two. It becomes more, but we are also moving, so we are going into still untransformed territory. We're leaving this behind as we move on. But you can see how the sky is transforming. So that's a sequence of maybe 2 hours and 150 kilometers of movement. Then what we've seen very often is sylphs. Now we're becoming a bit more metaphysical, because a lot of people feel that sylphs are the cloud expression of spiritual beings that live in the sky. And we get to see a lot of them, and sometimes we have the impression that they are saying thank you for the work that we have done. Now, this could still be dismissed as, he's just showing us some pictures of clouds, I mean, it can mean anything. The only thing why I think it constitutes proof is because we always see the change from the one state into the other, and not from the other into